Hello everyone, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do, please subscribe to the channel for more inexpensive DIY builds. Stay to the end for a couple of tips that may make things a little bit easier for you when you decide to build this. Before I start, I have to say, can this even be done? Can I use 1/8 inch plywood veneer and common 2x3 lumber to create a relatively nice and inexpensive floating shelf? And to make things a little bit more complicated, 1, I'm not a professional woodworker. 2, I have less than the bare minimum tools to get this done. I really only have a circular saw and a miter saw. And 3, my wife likes really expensive things, but I'm on a tight budget. So with that being said, let's build a couple of 10-foot long floating shelves out of 2x3 lumber and 1/8 inch plywood veneer. The space here looks a bit congested and it wasn't working for us anymore, so we decided to redo the entire layout to make it more pleasant with plenty of shelf space to help clean things up and make the space more efficient. The wall where the two 10-foot floating shelves will go measures about 12 feet. Right now, I'm measuring everything carefully to make sure I hit the wall studs. I'm using a neodymium magnet to help me locate the studs quickly. I'm also using a laser to get an accurate level. I've marked the wall center line in blue tape to help me double check the height and level faster. Since it's a long wall, using the laser is convenient. Here, I'm continuing to locate the studs to make sure I have proper anchor points for the shelves. Now, I'm cutting 8 5-foot long pieces from 2x3s to create 2 10-foot shelf sections. My 2x3 blocking is 8 inches long. Overall, this creates an 11-inch width. Now I'm anchoring them in place, again making sure I have the correct spacing to secure them to the wall. One thing that really helped me was measuring the stud locations in advance to help me avoid any interferences with my blocking. Make sure everything is level in both directions. Do not skip this part. Take your time and you will be glad you did when you're ready to install the veneer. I'm also working on the electrical. I'm planning to install LED light strips. I got really lucky though. There's an outlet right next to where I need to run cable all the way up to the shelves. Here, I'm getting the 1/8 inch plywood veneer cut to size and fitting it to the wall. When I use a circular saw, I like to use clamps to help me secure a guide so I can get straight cuts. I've repeated this process for all sides, but make sure you account for any wall imperfection that might cause the plywood to not sit square with your frame. This is how it looks now. As you can see, I also added a lip to accommodate LED tracks that I'll be installing soon. Currently, I'm checking that the LEDs are properly placed and the shelves are aligned. I'm also installing the metal LED track along the shelf's perimeter. The lip I added gave me enough height to get a flush fit for the LEDs. Here I'm using 90-degree connectors for the corner pieces to get perfect angles. This saved me from soldering or dealing with complicated connections, and it also saved me a lot of time. These tracks made it really easy to install all the LEDs. I'm also adding the diffusers to help distribute the LED light evenly. I've taped everything off and I'm now preparing to stain the shelves. I use Varathane Ebony Stain, which I think looks really good. After staining, I caulked around the sides to keep the light contained within the shelves and prevent any light from bleeding through the sides. Overall, I'm really pleased on how they turned out, but even more importantly, my wife loves them, and the total cost was only $150, which included lumber, veneer, stain, some miscellaneous items like wood filler, sandpaper, and screws. I'll put the overall cost breakdown on the screen, but I definitely see myself building more of these in the near future. What do you think? Thank you so much for staying till the end. Here's tip number 1. If you ever want to divide a piece of wood into equal spacing, grab yourself a speed square or a tape measure and measure from one corner of the board to the opposite edge. In this case, I want to divide this piece of wood into half, so I measure from the corner and move the speed square until you reach the number 4. Half of 4 is 2, so make a small mark at the number 2, and that should be your center line. Now, if you want to divide the piece of wood into 3 equal sections, do the exact same thing, but move the speed square until you get to number 6. To get 3 equal spaces, make a mark on the number 2 and the number 4, and that will give you 3 equal sections. Tip number 2. To locate studs on your wall really fast, use a neodymium magnet. These are powerful magnets that will definitely make your life a whole lot easier.